Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by your emotions that it feels like you're short-circuiting? That sensation of being flooded by more input than your brain can process, where even small tasks feel monumental and your reactions feel disproportionately large. This isn't just stress, it's a state of emotional overwhelm. And if you've experienced it, you know how paralyzing it can be. For centuries, especially for women, these intense emotional experiences were dismissed with a single, damaging word: hysteria. It was a label used to invalidate very real pain and suffering. Today, we're going to dismantle that myth. We'll explore the science behind what's actually happening in your brain and body when you feel this way. More importantly, we'll provide a comprehensive toolkit of science-backed strategies and practical lifestyle adjustments to help you navigate these intense feelings and build emotional resilience. You will leave this video with a deeper understanding of your own emotional landscape and concrete steps to regain a sense of balance and control. Understanding the hysteria myth and what's really happening. To understand where we are, we must first look at where we've been. The term hysteria has ancient roots, dating back to ancient Egypt and Greece. The word itself comes from the Greek for uterus, hystera. For thousands of years, physicians believed that a wide array of female symptoms, everything from anxiety and fainting to irritability and a tendency to cause trouble, was caused by a wandering womb. This theory suggested the uterus could move freely throughout a woman's body, causing various ailments. This diagnosis became a convenient, catch-all explanation for any female experience that was misunderstood or deemed troublesome. It was a tool of dismissal, rooted in a profound lack of understanding of women's health. This legacy of medical sexism has had lasting effects, echoing in modern times whenever a woman's pain is downplayed as being all in her head or overly emotional. It wasn't until 1980 that hysteria was officially removed from the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. What science now tells us is that the experiences once labeled as hysteria are often related to what is known as emotional dysregulation. This is not a personal failing or a character flaw. It is a difficulty in managing the intensity and duration of emotional responses, and it is a common human experience. When you feel overwhelmed, it's a sign that your capacity to cope has been exceeded by your current stressors. The science of overwhelm. So what is happening on a biological level? When you encounter a stressful trigger, your amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, goes into high alert. This activation triggers a cascade of stress hormones, primarily cortisol and adrenaline, preparing your body for a fight-or-flight response. Your heart rate increases, your breathing quickens, and your muscles tense up. In a state of emotional overwhelm, this system becomes hyperactive. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking and impulse control, is effectively taken offline. This is why it can feel impossible to think clearly or make decisions when you're in the grips of an intense emotion. The emotional part of your brain has hijacked the logical part. This state can manifest in various ways. Common signs of emotional overwhelm include disproportionate reactions, having a very strong emotional response to a seemingly minor issue, like panicking when you misplace your keys. Cognitive difficulties, experiencing brain fog, forgetfulness, or a persistent lack of concentration. Persistent negative mood, a constant state of irritability, anxiety, or feelings of hopelessness. Physical symptoms, unexplained fatigue, headaches, stomach issues, or changes in sleep and appetite. Social withdrawal, avoiding friends, family, and social situations you once enjoyed. Decline in self-care, finding it difficult to engage in basic self-care activities, such as eating regular meals or maintaining hygiene. The root causes. Why do we become overwhelmed? Emotional overwhelm rarely stems from a single event. More often, it's the result of multiple stressors building up over time. Some of the deep-seated factors that can contribute include chronic stress, prolonged exposure to high-stress environments, whether from work, relationships, or financial strain, can deplete your coping resources. Major life changes. Significant life transitions, even positive ones like a new job or a move, can be emotionally demanding and disrupt your sense of stability. Trauma. Past traumatic experiences can leave the nervous system in a state of hypervigilance, making you more susceptible to feeling emotionally flooded. Underlying mental health conditions. Conditions like anxiety disorders, depression, and PTSD can make emotional regulation more challenging. For example, those with anxiety may be more prone to feeling overwhelmed by worry and intrusive thoughts. Lack of learned coping skills. If you grew up in an environment where emotions were invalidated or you weren't taught healthy ways to cope, you might find it more difficult to manage intense feelings as an adult. Understanding these root causes is not about placing blame. It's about fostering self-compassion and recognizing that your experience is a valid response to your life circumstances. Actionable strategies and techniques. The ability to regulate your emotions is not an innate talent. It is a set of skills that can be learned and strengthened. Here are 5 powerful evidence-based strategies to help you manage moments of overwhelm. 1. Cognitive reappraisal, changing how you think. What it is. Cognitive reappraisal is a psychological technique that involves changing your interpretation of a situation to alter your emotional response to it. It's about consciously reframing your thoughts from a negative or threatening perspective to one that is more balanced and constructive. Why it works. Our emotions are heavily influenced by our thoughts. An event itself is neutral. It is our appraisal of the event that gives rise to our feelings. By challenging and changing unhelpful thought patterns, you can directly influence your emotional state, reducing the intensity of negative feelings. How to do it. A step-by-step guide. Catch the thought. The moment you feel a wave of negative emotion, pause and ask yourself, what was the thought that just went through my mind? Identify the automatic negative thought. For instance, after a work presentation, the thought might be, everyone thought my ideas were terrible. Check the thought. Interrogate the validity of this thought. Ask questions like, is this thought 100% true? What evidence do I have for and against this thought? Am I engaging in any thinking traps like catastrophizing or all or nothing thinking? Change the thought. Generate a more balanced, realistic, and helpful alternative thought. This isn't about toxic positivity, but about finding a more nuanced perspective. Instead of, everyone thought my ideas were terrible, a reframe could be, I presented my ideas. Some people seemed engaged, and it's an opportunity for feedback and growth. Real-life application. Imagine you're stuck in traffic and are going to be late for an important appointment. Your automatic thought might be, this is a disaster. Everything is ruined. Using cognitive reappraisal, you would catch this thought. Check its accuracy. Is it truly a disaster or just an inconvenience? And change it to something like, this is frustrating, but I can call ahead to let them know I'm running late. It's not ideal, but it's manageable. 2. Distress tolerance skills. The T.I.P.P technique. What it is. The T.I.P.P skills are a set of powerful techniques from dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, a therapeutic approach highly effective for emotional dysregulation. These skills are designed for moments of acute crisis to quickly reduce extreme emotional arousal. Why it works. T.I.P.P works by inducing a rapid physiological change in your body, which in turn calms your emotional state. It leverages the mind-body connection to interrupt an emotional spiral before it becomes uncontrollable. How to do it. A step-by-step guide. T. Temperature. Drastically change your body temperature. The most effective way is to submerge your face in a bowl of cold water, not below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, for 30 seconds while holding your breath. This activates the mammalian dive reflex, which rapidly slows your heart rate and redirects blood flow to the brain, producing a calming effect. If this isn't feasible, holding a cold pack on your cheeks and under your eyes can also work. Intense exercise. Engage in a short burst of intense physical activity for a few minutes. This could be running in place, doing jumping jacks, or sprinting up a flight of stairs. Intense exercise helps to release pent-up physical energy that accompanies strong emotions like anger or anxiety. P. Paced breathing. Deliberately slow down your breathing. Inhale slowly from your abdomen for a count of 4, and exhale even more slowly for a count of 6. Slowing your breathing rate to about 5 or 6 breaths per minute tells your parasympathetic nervous system that the threat has passed, initiating a relaxation response. P. Paired muscle. Relaxation. Tense a specific muscle group in your body as you inhale, hold the tension for a few seconds, and then completely release the tension as you exhale, saying the word relax to yourself. Work through different muscle groups from your feet up to your face. This process makes you aware of the contrast between tension and relaxation, helping to release physical stress. Real-life application. You receive a distressing text message and feel a surge of panic. You can immediately go to a sink, use the temperature skill by splashing your face with cold water, and then practice paced breathing for 2 minutes to bring your heart rate down and regain a sense of calm before you decide how to respond. 3. Mindfulness and grounding exercises. What it is. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing non-judgmental awareness to the present moment. Grounding exercises are specific techniques that anchor you to the present when your mind is caught in a storm of overwhelming thoughts or emotions. Why it works. When we feel overwhelmed, we are often lost in thoughts about the past or fears about the future. Mindfulness and grounding pull our attention away from this mental chatter and into the physical reality of the here and now, which can be a powerful antidote to anxiety and panic. How to do it, a step-by-step guide. The 5-4-3-2-1 technique. This is a simple yet potent grounding exercise. Wherever you are, pause and intentionally notice. 5 things you can see: the color of the wall, a pen on your desk, a light fixture. 4 things you can physically feel: the texture of your clothes, the chair beneath you, your feet on the floor. 3 things you can hear: the hum of a computer, distant traffic, your own breathing. 2 things you can smell: the scent of coffee, a nearby plant, the air itself. 1 thing you can taste: the lingering taste of your last meal, or simply the sensation of your tongue in your mouth. Mindful observation. Pick up a common object, like a key or a piece of fruit. Examine it as if you've never seen it before. Notice its colors, textures, weight, and temperature. This intense focus on sensory details occupies your working memory, leaving less room for anxious thoughts. Real-life application. You are in a crowded grocery store and start to feel anxious and overwhelmed. You can pause your cart in an aisle and discreetly practice the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, bringing your focus to the sensory details of the environment and away from your internal feelings of panic. 4. Emotional acceptance and self-compassion. What it is. Emotional acceptance is the practice of allowing your emotions to be present without judging them, resisting them, or becoming consumed by them. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a good friend who is struggling. Why it works. Often, it is our resistance to difficult emotions that causes the most suffering. Trying to fight or suppress feelings like sadness or anxiety can paradoxically make them stronger. Acceptance reduces this internal struggle. Self-compassion activates the brain's self-soothing system, releasing oxytocin and reducing cortisol, which helps to calm the stress response. How to do it, a step-by-step guide. Acknowledge and name the feeling. Simply say to yourself, I am feeling anxiety right now, or this is sadness. Naming the emotion creates a little bit of space between you and the feeling, reminding you that you are not your emotion. Offer yourself kindness. Place a hand over your heart or another comforting place on your body. Say something kind to yourself, such as, this is a moment of suffering. It's okay to feel this way. May I be kind to myself. Recognize common humanity. Remind yourself that suffering and emotional pain are part of the shared human experience. You are not alone in feeling this way. Real-life application. You've had a difficult day and feel a wave of sadness wash over you. Instead of immediately trying to distract yourself or telling yourself to snap out of it, you could pause, take a breath, and practice self-compassion. You might say to yourself, it's understandable that I feel sad after today. It was a hard day. I'm going to allow myself to feel this without judgment. 5. Expressive writing and journaling. What it is. Expressive writing involves translating your thoughts and feelings into written language. It is a structured way to process and make sense of your internal experiences. Why it works. The act of writing about overwhelming emotions can help to organize chaotic thoughts, reduce their emotional charge, and provide valuable insights into your triggers and patterns. It moves the experience from the emotional, nonverbal parts of the brain to the language-centered, analytical parts, which can facilitate processing and resolution. How to do it, a step-by-step guide. Time-free writing. Set a timer for 15 to 20 minutes and write continuously about whatever's on your mind. Don't worry about grammar, spelling, or making sense. The goal is to simply get the thoughts and feelings out onto the page. Gratitude journaling. At the end of each day, write down 3 specific things that you are grateful for. This practice has been shown to shift your brain's attentional bias away from threats and towards positive experiences, which can improve mood over time. Problem-solving journaling. Write about a specific problem that is causing you to feel overwhelmed. Explore the situation from different angles, brainstorm potential solutions, and outline a small, actionable first step you could take. Real-life application. You find yourself ruminating on a conflict with a family member. You can take out a journal and use the free writing technique to explore all your feelings of anger, hurt, and confusion without censorship. This process can bring clarity and help you decide how you want to approach the situation later. A guide to do's and don'ts. As you practice these new skills, keep this simple framework in mind. Do's: do prioritize the basics. Ensure you are getting adequate sleep, nutrition, and physical activity. These are the foundations of emotional resilience. Do: set and enforce boundaries. Protect your energy by learning to say no to requests and situations that will push you beyond your capacity. Do: practice self-compassion. Acknowledge that learning new coping skills takes time. Be patient and kind with yourself during setbacks. Do: cultivate social connection. Reach out to trusted friends or family. Feeling understood and supported is a powerful buffer against overwhelm. Don'ts: don't isolate yourself. While it can be tempting to withdraw when you feel overwhelmed, isolation often makes these feelings worse. Don't rely on unhealthy coping mechanisms. Avoid turning to substances, excessive screen time, or other numbing behaviors that provide temporary relief but create long-term problems. Don't ignore your body's signals. Pay attention to signs of fatigue, tension, and burnout. These are important messages that you need to rest and recharge. Don't expect perfection. The goal is not to eliminate difficult emotions, but to get better at navigating them. Progress, not perfection, is the key. Bonus tips: lifestyle, diet, and activities for emotional balance. Your daily habits play a profound role in your emotional well-being. Here are some additional, science-backed lifestyle adjustments you can make. Beneficial medical and nutritional tips: omega-3 fatty acids. These are crucial for brain health. Studies show that diets rich in omega-3s can help improve mood and reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. Excellent sources include fatty fish like salmon and walnuts. Complex carbohydrates. Foods like whole grains, beans, and vegetables help to stabilize blood sugar levels, which can prevent the mood swings associated with energy crashes. B vitamins, folate, B6, and B12 are vital for the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin, which regulates mood. Leafy green vegetables are a great source of these vitamins. Hydration. Even mild dehydration can impact your mood and cognitive function. Aim to drink plenty of water throughout the day. Prioritize sleep. Sleep is when your brain processes emotions and consolidates memories. A consistent sleep schedule is one of the most effective things you can do for your mental health. Beneficial activities and exercises. Regular physical activity. Exercise is a potent tool for mental health. It boosts endorphins, reduces stress hormones, and stimulates the growth of new brain cells in regions associated with emotion regulation. Time in nature. Spending time in green spaces has been shown to reduce rumination and lower cortisol levels. Even a short walk in a park can have a calming effect. Creative outlets. Engaging in hobbies like painting, playing an instrument, or gardening can be a form of mindfulness and a healthy way to process emotions. Mind-body practices. Activities like yoga and Tai Chi combine physical movement with mindfulness and breathing techniques, making them particularly effective for reducing stress and anxiety. When and how to seek professional help. While self-help strategies are incredibly valuable, there are times when the support of a mental health professional is necessary. Reaching out is a sign of strength and self-awareness. Consider seeking professional help if your feelings of overwhelm are persistent and significantly interfering with your ability to function in your daily life. Your coping strategies no longer feel effective. You are consistently withdrawing from your relationships and responsibilities. You are having thoughts of harming yourself. There are several types of therapy that are particularly effective for learning emotional regulation skills. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, helps you identify and change the negative thought patterns and behaviors that contribute to emotional distress. Dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, provides concrete skills in four key areas: mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotion regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness. Acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, teaches you to accept difficult feelings and commit to actions that are in line with your personal values. Supporting a loved one. If you are watching this to learn how to support someone you care about, your presence is a gift. Here are a few guidelines. Listen to understand, not to fix. The most powerful thing you can do is listen with empathy and without judgment. Let them know you hear them and that you're there for them. Validate their feelings. Use phrases like, "That sounds incredibly difficult," or "It makes sense that you're feeling so overwhelmed." Validation tells them that their emotional experience is real and understandable. Offer specific practical help. Instead of the generic, "Let me know if you need anything," try offering something concrete. For example, "Can I help with grocery shopping this week?" Or, "Would you like to go for a quiet walk together?" Encourage professional support gently. You can be a vital source of support, but you cannot be their therapist. You can help by researching potential therapists or offering to accompany them to their first appointment. Conclusion. The feeling of being emotionally overwhelmed is a deeply human experience, not a sign of being broken or hysterical. By moving away from outdated, harmful myths and embracing a modern, scientific understanding of our emotions, we can reclaim our power. The strategies and tips we've discussed are not quick fixes, but tools to build a life with greater emotional balance. Start small, choose one technique that resonates with you, and practice it consistently. Be patient and compassionate with yourself through the process. Remember, you have the capacity to navigate your emotional world with skill and resilience. Change is possible, and you are not on this journey alone. What was your biggest takeaway from this video? Share it with the community below. Disclaimer: this video is for educational and informational purposes only. The information we're sharing is designed to support, not replace, the relationship that exists between you and your healthcare provider.